Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago and beyond. This is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. Today is Thursday, November, let's call it the 3rd, give or take.
It'll be the 3rd. It'll be the 3rd when you hear this.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're hearing this, it's the 3rd. Today, it's not the 3rd for us. Today is Thursday, October the 26th.
But if it's the 3rd, that means Vulgarity for Charity is in full swing.
That's fucking right, Cecil.
So get on it.
Hey, modestneeds.org. Donate some money. Help some people out. Take your receipt. Send it to Vulgarity for Charity, the word, not the number, at gmail.com. If you're $100 or more.
He actually meant $50 or more for Vulgarity for Charity. Also, today's November 2nd. Okay, unless you're a patron, which you'll get it November 1st, and I have to publish it right now. Okay, bye.
You'll be entered into a drawing to be, for us to pick a roast. So you tell us you want
100
roasting.
random roasters for $100.
Yep, pretty good. Pretty good odds. And then, of course, the top 100, they get roasts.
Yeah, so the top money.
Top
so if you got some change you want to blow on this, the people who spend the most will definitely get a roast. So
spend the most, you get a roast.
Spend the most, get a roast.
I like it.
And they're going to be sprinkled throughout between now and the end of the year. And so a few of these funny shows that are on Thursdays
going to be roasty
probably will be Vulgarity for Charity only shows. So we're looking forward to recording them with the guys. We record with them every week on Citation Needed. If you don't know that show, you should check it out. Citation Needed is our show where one of us writes a story about something they find on Wikipedia, and then the rest of us make jokes about it. And it's a really good time. If you missed it, you never listened to it before, go check it out. Citation Needed. That's Citation Needed or citationpod.com. You can listen to all the old back episodes. So we talked to them already, the guys from Scathing Atheist, once a week, but this is another opportunity to have fun and enjoy their company and get some roasts out there.
Absolutely. And it's a great cause. Like Modest Needs, we've worked with them for years and years. Could not be a better organization run by nicer people.
Yeah,
genuinely. It really is. So it's a place you can trust.
And you have until the Thanksgiving. So midnight on Thanksgiving, Eastern time, I think, is when you have until. So if you're waiting for your paycheck to come in, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna wait and get donate $100 in a couple weeks. That's fine, but you got to have them in by a certain point. We have to have a cutoff. But within the next week or so, we're hoping that we're going to record one of these Vulgarity for Charity episodes. So early response to this, way better chance to get picked.
Absolutely. Yep.
Early response, great chance to get picked.
That's very true.
So if you're somebody who's, and that goes for people who are high dollar roasters too.
Yep.
And the high dollar roasters, way better chance to get picked.
The odds are ever in your favor.
The odds are super in your favor if you donate more than $100. If you give a little bit of extra cash there, chances are way in your favor right now. And we will be doing, I think, on both shows, on both our show and on Scathing, there will be a segment before we even close this whole thing out.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. So Cecil, this story comes from WMTV 7, NBC15.com. Whatever. City orders risque Halloween display to be taken down. You got to show.
So the risque holiday display is 5 chairs sitting around one pole. On the pole is a skeleton, and then there's a bunch of skeletons sitting around. A few of them have like fake dollar bills, and it looks like a pole spinning thing that's going on. And this was told to be taken down.
Were they worried they were going to show too much skin? These are skeletons. These are skeletons.
Yeah. Somebody was going to get a boner. Is that what's going to happen? No, I think the problem, here's the fucking thing I don't understand, okay? You go by somebody's house and it's genuinely grotesque.
I know, right?
Like there'll be guts hanging out. Somebody's fucking face hanging off. There's like a fucking, like a Saw thing where a guy has like his head crushed on a fucking bear trap or whatever. No problem.
No problem.
Who gives a shit? Whatever. We can show the goriest, bloodiest shit you possibly can imagine. A fucking completely fucking milquetoast nothing of this, whatever this is. It's skeletons, for Christ's sakes. Nothing is being shown. This is too risque.
Dude, if this is something that like makes you clutch your pearls.
Oh my God.
How do you even live in the
I
world?
don't know, man.
How
I
do you
don't
even
know.
live? How do you walk
I don't
around?
know, man.
Like we have this like insane double standard where socially we have this like really high threshold for acceptability for violence, but like violence is definitionally non-consensual.
Yeah.
And then like we're super weird about sex,
Which
like
is
which can and should be
which
consensual.
Should be consensual.
So like, and when it's not, it has violence attached to it. So like, we're so weird about that. Like, we're
And-
so fucking weird about that.
And even worse, we're crazy about something that could be consensual if it were depicted, which it's not. Right. This is like the faintest whiff.
Yes.
Of
This is
I
like
ran
a ghost of
I
it.
ran sex by a window outside that you didn't get to see. Right. This is very, very, very hinting at that there could be a sexual situation, but there isn't in this case. Yeah. And that's the thing that gets bad. There was another one I saw. Somebody else had two skeletons. There was two big skeletons. And one of them was on top of the other one, like sitting on it. And I was like, that's actually really funny. But again, people complained and wanted it taken down.
Well, did the one skeleton have a boner?
I think one. I think he had 206 bones. But we're in this weird place where, you know, people want to. I mean, Jesus, we live in such a country of Karens. It's so pathetic. You're like, come on, man. People are just having fun. This is not risque. This is the least risque thing you could possibly imagine.
This is not gonna like make your kids ask weird questions, you know? Like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
Your kids are gonna be like, skeletons. And they're gonna be like, yeah, what are the skeletons doing? I don't know. They're just
hanging out.
That's what they're doing.
The end.
You would have to tell them that this was sexual.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you're right. You're genuinely right.
So you would have to, as the adult, you would have to explain to them that this like refers to a sexualized context and then be scandalized about it. Like, this would take so much effort.
Yeah.
This would take so much effort. And it is also just the case that you can just like not like something and be okay with it. There's lots of things I drive by and I'm like, I don't like that. You know what I don't like?
Yeah.
When I'm driving down the road and I see a car or a truck and it has a fucking Salt Life sticker or like a Yeti sticker or a Monster sticker, those fucking branded stickers all over everything. I think they're tacky.
I don't know if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, like just people put like, you know, like stickers on their cars, decals and like bumper stickers on their cars.
That's crazy.
They just have like brands because they're just like, I like this brand.
I've never seen it. It's crazy.
I think it's tacky.
Sure.
Do you know who I complain to about it?
Nobody.
Literally nobody. Because I'm
cares?
just like, I don't like it. Sometimes I'll see somebody with bad hair and I'll be like, that hair looks bad.
I don't like.
What the fuck?
You know what I don't like? We're driving down the road and somebody has bought every fucking single lawn ornament in the world and they stuck it on their lawn. And it's covered like there's no lawn anymore. It's literally just like all flamingos and shit. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, what? That looks terrible. But who cares? I don't knock on their door.
Right.
I don't call the homeowners association.
Right.
I judge them.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do. But you're supposed to do it silently. Yeah. Just judge people silently, man.
Mean girl with your wife about it, right?
Mean girl.
Like you just gotta like drive past a Halloween display and be like, they didn't really put the effort in. Like, just keep your snide You don't have to be like, they should take it down.
Yeah.
You can just dislike something. Like, you can just be like, that's not for me. That could be the end of the whole thing.
That's the end of the story.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, these are skeletons.
Yeah.
Like, you fuck it. Like, it's a holiday made for fun. And you're like, what if I suck the fun out of it? What if it was, it's a Halloween, it's a candy-based holiday.
Though? I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think it's because they hate Halloween. And it's not because it's fun. It's because it has those weird connotations that weird religious people have to put on it. They're like, it's about Satan. I don't know if you knew, but Reese's Pieces are about Satan. And you're just like, okay, calm the fuck down.
On Halloween is the day that the veil between the living and the dead grows thinnest.
Back to church. Just stay in church. Just never leave.
Yeah.
But those people, though, that want to inflict their church on other people, they fucking do that all the time.
All the time.
And whatever they can do, whatever fucking wedge that they can drive into Halloween, they will do.
They will. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This story comes
I gotta
from
show this one
CNN.
too.
This is a perfect New York story. New York unveils statue commemorating alligator sewer myth.
Okay, I want to zoom in on this picture, Tom. Let me open it up in a new window. So I want to show you what this picture looks like. Let's zoom in so we can talk about it. So what it is an alligator in a fucking sewer with a pop can and a McDonald's bag next to it. And I was just like, 100% any single alley, not an alley, a gutter in New York City could have this alligator in it because it's swimming in garbage juice.
Yeah.
It's garbage juice all the way down.
I saw this and thought this is the perfect encapsulation of New York City, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a lot of shit in a sewer and you're proud of it. And I
That's so true. And you're defending it to the death. You're like, no, it's the best place ever.
City in the
world.
world.
Best city in the world.
Best city in the world.
You bet it is.
Here's the garbage that's in our sewer.
Garbage that's in our,
You may recognize it from also our streets.
I wanted to mention, so I just got back from New Orleans, and I've been to New Orleans a couple times in the past, and this is my fourth time coming back. And I have to say, all the other times I went down there, it was on par with as filthy as New York City. I mean, just filthy, right? Where garbage juice and fucking, there was one time I was walking by a garbage can there, and this garbage can was so covered with filth. And I mean, just like goop and grotesqueness and stuff. I held my garbage. I saw the garbage can and I was like, nope. I'll carry it to the next one, thanks. And I walked past the garbage can. It was so filthy. This time, I was very impressed with how clean it was. And I don't know if I just caught it on the right week or whatever, but it was very, very clean. And I was very impressed.
That's great.
I was very impressed with it. I don't know if there's a new initiative or whatever. I also haven't been back to New York in...
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Last time I was in New York was 2019 when we did our live show.
Yeah.
So I haven't been back since, but it was still filthy then. So not like it wasn't filthy then. It was fucking filthy then. So
if there could be a statue that smells like piss everywhere, that should also be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like maybe somebody should piss on alligator.
There should be a statue of a rat trying to carry a piece of pizza up the stairs. That's what there should be. God. Garbage pile. There should be a garbage pile statue. God, one of my favorite photos
mountains.
is I have my arm around Eli Bosnick and I took a selfie in front of a garbage pile that was as tall as him. I was like, it's as tall as you are. We're going to take a selfie in front of it. It was that big. Like it's so filthy. Like it's just so filthy.
And I know from time to time, the refuse workers, the sanitation workers will go on strike.
Peace out for a little while.
And I can't imagine how hard it would be to live in that city.
Yeah,
like
man.
if the garbage were not collected, the garbage has to be collected at least 6 times a day. There's
so much of it.
There's so much trash. It's an enormous city with like millions of people. I get it, right? They don't have room for alleys. Like, I get it. I do. I get it. But also like, ew, fuck, what?
Yeah.
Like, whatever those guys are getting paid, if they're like, we want triple to pay, you're like, great, you got triple to pay.
Yeah.
What? Your arm is twisted behind your
man.
back. Your city is a mountain of trash.
Why don't we just hire all the alligators in the sewer to eat the garbage? Yeah, the funny part, the best part of this story is the last part where they say rumors about alligators in the sewers seem to date back to at least the 1930s when New York Times reported youths in Harlem had discovered an alligator in the sewer and promptly beat it to death. It's the best line. That's the greatest. It's a throwaway line at the end. It's the best line.
I love that they promptly beat it to death. It's like,
hey, you Utes, you want to take care of this fucking alligator?
These
so
two
good.
Utes over here.
So fucking funny, dude.
Jesus Christ.
God. Tom, that tortoise we're talking about, I don't know if it's the same one.
I don't know if it's the same one.
This is the same one, but it's a great story.
Yeah.
This is a great story.
This story is from UPI.com. Runaway tortoise found 5 miles from home 3.5 years later.
I think you just got to read this story. It's very short.
Sheriff's deputies in Florida captured a loose African sulcata tortoise, and the reptile was later found to have escaped its home 3.5 years earlier.
Jesus Christ.
Florida's
wild... chipped. It's microchipped. They just fucking take a nail and put it on its shell, right?
The fucking slow speed chase. Florida's Wildest Animal Rescue, a nonprofit exotic animal refuge in Putnam County, said local sheriff's deputies brought in a sulcata tortoise they found wandering in Interlaken. He's definitely someone's tortoise, as he likes people and head pats. the sheriff's office said in a Facebook post.
I love that so much that he loves head pats.
Here's what I love about that is that look at this picture of this tortoise for a second. What if he didn't like head pats?
Tell you what, he'd like your finger.
Right?
Fucking
You
A.
got to find out.
One of our friends has a turtle or a tortoise.
Yeah.
And it's as old as she is.
Oh, yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
as old as she is. It's like a 40-year-old tortoise. And she has it in like a aquarium at her house. And she feeds it like hot dogs and carrots. And those are finger shapes.
Oh, yeah.
And I keep telling her, I'm like, that's the wrong shape. Feed it another thing. Feed
Don't
it
feed it
something. Don't
naked.
feed it a finger shape. Because I put my finger up by the fucking cage once and that thing was like, it's like, I get it. It was a piece of glass between us,
Right.
but it didn't matter. It was like, that's a carrot shape or a hot dog. Actually, it was more hot dog shape than
Right.
carrot shape. But it was like, and it went after it. I was like, no, man, fuck that. I don't want to fight. You'll lose a finger to one of these things.
In a second. And like this fucking thing is huge.
This thing is big.
This thing's fucking huge. So I love that there's like,
3.5
yeah, he likes head
years.
pats. The refuge also posted about the tortoise on social media and soon received a flood of tips from members of the public about a sulcata tortoise that had been reported missing in the same area in April of 2020. She was missing.
I was like, was there a sulcata tortoise that went missing?
Do you remember?
Everybody's got their cup of coffee talking to their wife in the morning. Do you remember a couple years ago?
So a bit ago,
do you remember the Johnsons had a tortoise?
a sulcata tortoise, an African sulcata tortoise?
Did it like head pats?
Wait. Speedy, right? Speedy the tortoise?
No, not so much.
She was missing for 3.5 years and found 5 miles away from where she originally escaped. The tortoise was returned to her surprised and grateful owners. She's in a little bit of rough shape from spending so many cold winters here without heat, but she'll be okay and we recommend a trip to the vet, the refuge said. Also, I read that and I'm like,
So heartwarming. too.
what vet knows anything about African sulcata tortoises?
Have you ever gone to the vet and there's been like a weird animal there?
No.
Yeah. So there's like a couple of vets that have to be exotic vets.
Okay.
And so like if like certain places around here are like for like specific exotic animals. So if you go in, sometimes somebody will have like a fucking iguana in their lap or whatever.
Like show up like a fucking meerkat or some shit. And you're like, I don't know.
Like yeah,
I'm not an expert on all the animals.
I wonder how, that's the other thing. That's an interesting thing. I wonder how many animals you have to be like
certified to
in.
know?
Yeah.
I would imagine, all right, off the top of my head, it's got to be like,
Birds.
well, but it can't
general
be, is it like
birds.
all, yeah,
It's gotta
general
be
birds.
general birds.
So general birdery.
General
General
birdery. General cattery.
Cattery and doggery.
And general doggery.
What about like,
Horsery.
yeah, like, do they have to know like all the livestocks?
Yeah.
Like-
I guess I forgot about the livestock.
Because like horses
I
would be a
figured you just eat
livestock to
those
me.
when you go. Like you're like, I'm just gonna eat that.
And then like, what about like your various like piss rats? Like the whole family of piss rats. Like,
there's a million little rats too.
right. So like, what about like guinea pigs and
Chinchillas
hamsters and
sugar gliders.
yeah, just
and-
the whole piss rat phenomenon.
there's
or
also a
family.
part of me too that wonders like, if your rat is sick, do you take it to the vet or do you just like, well, that's the rat? I mean,
But people
like,
love the rats.
I
So
know.
like,
I'm not
somebody's gonna
saying they
take
don't
it
love
to
their
a vet.
rats, but like they're very like they're not like an animal that you have for a long time.
No, they live like 5 years. Because actually,
Okay.
I thought about getting rats because they're supposed to be really social and really smart, and they can make like really good pets. But they live like 5 years, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Disposable pets for me. I'll get attached and then it'll die, and I'll be like, now I'll never want to have one of those
Yeah,
again.
that's gonna be sad. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a sad day. No,
Like, I'm
I'm
not
not
looking
saying
to
that you
set me
can't
up.
and that are not a.
No, I know, but I'm agreeing
but I
with you,
wonder like at a certain point too, if it's a if it only has a lifespan of 5 years, let's say. If it gets sick in its 4th year, do you take it to the vet? You know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah.
like, it's probably,
Or do you
is
just,
it
like,
just dying now?
Give
you
it
know?
pizza and let it
Yeah.
walk up the stairs, the great stairway to heaven.
Great
you know?
stairway in New York sky, or whatever. You let it climb the time stair.
Yeah, like,
the time.
do they have to
Square.
know about like what else can you buy at like a shitty pet store? Like rabbits, ferrets.
Fish? What about fish?
Yeah, what about fish? Do people take their fish
All
to the
right.
vet?
Somebody's a vet in our audience.
Yeah, what the fuck do you know?
How many pets do you know? Like, do
Yeah.
you know like a little bit about a lot of pets? Are you a jack of all trades, or do you specialize in a single pet?
Right.
Now I'm very curious.
And like if somebody brings in a pet, and you're not-
Reptiles.
yeah, like what if somebody? I had an iguana.
Yeah.
Those things will live for fucking ever.
What
man.
about the bugs? Because they have like
oh, like people have like tarantulas, and shit.
scorpions, tarantulas, all kinds of things like that.
Like if you're just a regular,
Do you take your cockroach in if it's sick? Are you like, come on now?
What can you do? Can you hear his heartbeat? He's got an exoskeleton. I can't hear anything in there.
When they euthanize, they just use the heel of a shoe.
They just raid the cage. He checked in, but he can't check out.
Oh no!
All right. Yeah, tell us what you know. List the animals.
List the animals you know, veterinarian.
Because like at some point, aren't you just like, oh no, maybe this? You know? Like somebody comes
Tommy
in.
Be the best vet. Someone comes in, their animal's racing. I don't know, maybe this. I don't know. Have you tried shaking it? I don't know. Did that work?
Why'd you even get one of these?
That's the best.
Get a dog. Why don't you just have a dog?
Tom, I don't know if we talked about Biden getting on Truth Social.
I didn't know this until I saw this.
So Biden jumps on Truth Social.
Delicious.
And like he comes on and he uses his social media team uses his Dark Brandon picture with the eyes. So they're using the Dark Brandon picture.
Oh, I fucking love it.
They come on, and one of his first social truths that he truths out is Trump doesn't know what's true. Here's him talking about how you should stick like disinfectant in your veins during COVID. And they post a video of him being like, what about sunlight or whatever. And then you see how many people, the best part is like people could like it or whatever.
Right.
And there's so few likes. But there was like let's say there was like 500 likes. Let's say 500 likes. There was 142,000 replies.
Troll level achieved.
So many people were so mad. They were just like fucking. They were. You know that they were flexing their phone. They were typing so hard. They're just like go. They were just so angry. But he just came on. Was just like fuck your face. And then he just like and like the best part is this is an absolute troll job.
Oh yeah, it's shitting in someone's house when they invite you over for dinner. This is an upper decker.
Really
that's what it is. Like you're at a dinner party of your worst enemy and you're dropping an upper decker.
And I thought, and in this they say that he was followed more than Trump.
Yeah, Trump's got 21,500 followers on his fucking stupid social, and fucking Dark Brandon's rocking 25,000 and change. So he's actually got more followers than Trump on Trump's own platform.
The network.
He owns the platform.
I'm surprised he's not on the phone like Musk be like, I need more followers. Just generate more followers.
Why does he just call the Secretary of State fucking Raffensperger and be like, I need 11,000 followers. I know we got them.
11,780 followers.
That's all I need.
What's so funny is 25,000 people. That's all that's on there.
I know. It's fucking
what
nobody.
A tiny little fucking echo chamber that is.
Do you even know anybody who's over there?
No, I don't know anybody.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't know somebody that's over there. Like if I met somebody and they're like, yeah, I'm only on Truth Social, I'd be like, oh, cool. So obviously we will never speak again.
We never will have a conversation.
Clearly, this is the last of our conversations forever.
Fare thee well.
Yeah, or not well. Actually, fare thee not well. You know, it's like I kind of feel the same way if somebody's like, oh, head over to my fucking, 4chan or fucking, Telegram. I'd be like, oh no, I'm not a white supremacist, so I don't actually. I don't want to burn any crosses.
I will say that I think this is an absolute master play by him.
Great. It's great.
Because if he gets kicked off, then it's not about free speech, right? If he gets kicked off, but he can just stay there and literally troll him.
Delicious.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And this is one of those outrage moments, right? And that's why, Trump got all that media is because of outrage. He's getting the same media, but from the other side because of outrage.
Yep.
And so it's exactly
it's hilarious.
I mean, it's and him just playing him like a fiddle is exactly what it's exactly what needs to happen.
This story comes from the Miami New Times. Feds, man tortured, waterboarded by kidnappers at Plantation Airbnb.
That is 100% a ChatGPT headline. It does not sound real, but I also want to point out these are brothers, but they look like a before and after picture.
They really do.
Because they have the same beard, right? So they have the exact same beard. And like one of them looks like a before, like one guy was before and then after he grew a little hair and he got a ton of tattoos on his face.
It's like the after is like if he paid for the Rogaine by letting people practice tattooing his face. The fucking face tattoos on this guy, they're so insane and so like weird and random looking.
They really, it looks Now this is a shortish article.
Yeah.
Tom's going to read the whole thing because I think there's just a lot of gold in this.
There is. And there is a part of this article that when you first put this article in our notes, Cecil, I thought, ooh, yikes, that's a tough one. And then I got to a line and I laughed out loud. I set my phone down.
Yeah.
It's so good. 3 South Florida men are facing federal kidnapping charges after they allegedly abducted the wrong man and then proceeded to waterboard him inside of an Airbnb. Federal prosecutors claimed that on the evening of October the 13th, brothers Jeffrey and Jonathan Arista and Raymond Gomez snatched the man as he was leaving his Fort Lauderdale home. The trio forced him into a white Dodge Charger with sham police lights, blindfolded him, and transported him to a rental unit in Plantation to shake him down for cash they claimed to be owed, according to the arrest affidavit. One of the kidnappers was disguised as a police officer wearing a gold badge and a tactical vest. Shortly after arriving...
It wasn't the guy with the tattoos. It wasn't the face tattoo
right.
guy. It was not this guy. It was the other guy.
Oh, yeah, that guy, the fucking guy with 100 face tattoos.
No, I don't believe you're an officer.
You know what? No.
Not unless you have like the American flag with the blue line on it or whatever. Then I'll believe it. If you have a face tattoo with the American flag with a blue line, I'll be like, all right.
I don't believe you're a police officer.
I'll allow it.
Can you tase a black guy? Then I'll believe it.
If you've tattooed the Punisher skull over your own face, then maybe I'll believe you're the police officer. But other than that,
I'll give it won't. Shortly after arriving at the Airbnb, the kidnappers realized they'd mistakenly kidnapped their intended target's co-worker.
Yeah.
What's that?
Air W and be water and board.
Rather than freeing the man. So they got the wrong fucking guy.
Get the wrong guy. And they know they got the wrong guy.
They know it.
They know it.
They tortured him by pointing guns at his head, placing a power drill to his skin, and threatening to kill him. They allegedly waterboarded him, covering his face with 4 or 5 black masks and pouring bucketfuls of water on him in the Airbnb's bathroom. All of this is horrible.
By the way, waterboarding, horrible, genuinely horrible. My favorite stories about that are the people who never said that waterboarding is torture. Yeah. And then the moment they get waterboarded, they're like, that is 100% torture.
Which is everybody that gets waterboarded.
Everybody who said it wasn't that gets waterboarded, 100% is now an anti-waterboarding person.
They're seriously... The conversion rate is 100%,
man.
Do you remember when Mancow got waterboarded?
Mancow got waterboarded. Mancow was like, that's not torture. That's not torture. The moment it happened to him, he's like, don't torture. That's torture.
I really dislike this.
I tapped out as quick as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, it was immediately. And there was somebody else who was saying it wasn't torture. And Jesse Ventura said, if you give me a bucket of water and a towel, I'll make him confess to the Sharon Tate murders, is what he had said. And I was like, yeah. All it takes is a few minutes. It's absolutely torture. 100% torture.
It is absolutely torture. There's no question. Both Arista siblings and Gomez have been charged with kidnapping and conspiracy to kidnap. Each faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. Upon learning that their intended target was at a business in Pompano Beach, Gomez drove the group there in a black Porsche and directed the victim to lure the man out so they could arrange to kidnap him instead. NBC identified the business as Booby Trap. They set a trap at Booby Trap.
It's a popular strip club, which I like.
That is the line.
That's the line. It's so good. I also want to point out, too, that this guy did a really smart thing. He goes in and then he called in a bomb threat.
Yeah.
And he didn't say there's guys outside that want to like kidnap somebody or something like that to the police. He called in a bomb threat so the police would get there as quickly as possible. And they did. They showed up right away. They showed up right away. And then they arrested these guys. And the best part is, here's another piece right here. One of the guys runs away. He hides behind a bush, and then he made his way toward a bus station, eluding officers for several hours. After police apprehended him, he allegedly told investigators that he and his brothers devised the kidnapping scheme to collect a debt from another individual who Gomez claimed not to know. They didn't even know they were trying to, like, what the fuck is happening?
These are the least competent. These are the scariest criminals.
Yeah.
Right. These are the scariest criminals because like they don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it or who they're doing it for or what the goal is. All they know how to do is pour water on your face and get you to the booby trap.
The goal is to get back into prison to fill out their face tattoos.
This is great. It's from Business Insider. A student was excited to move to Florida for college. Then she realized she had applied to Miami University in Ohio.
Which is worse, though.
Oh, I would rather live in Ohio than Florida.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean, I like Miami. Miami's kind of a cool city. Don't get me wrong. I think Miami's a cool city. But like, Florida's the fucking dripping wang of America.
Florida's a bad place to live.
It's
I wouldn't want to live. I wouldn't want to live in Florida. I can't imagine. Like, I really genuinely feel like I'd pick Ohio.
I'd pick Ohio.
And I hate Ohio. I hate Ohio.
Well, it's Ohio. Nobody would like Ohio, but it's fucking. I love this. So she's an international student. She's from Vietnam. She thought she was going to Miami, Florida. That's understandable.
Yeah,
it's a crazy name.
Got accepted to
University of Miami. Sounds like you're going to Miami. It does. It is not there.
You are going to Miami.
You are going to Miami.
100% going to Miami.
Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
It is rude of Ohio to have a Miami. That's just rude. You know? Also, this is why you do a campus tour.
Yeah.
If you're going to move.
Admittedly, it's tough to do from Vietnam.
Do a virtual tour. You know?
Well, if it was summer, you don't know.
Do it.
We do it during the summer because that's when a lot of campus tours happen. Or it's during the summer, Tom.
Google it. I'm just saying. I get it, but also Google
she did a viral TikTok and she said, "Yeah, it was after I was already accepted, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just go there." But she got a lot of student aid and whatnot, and which is why that she went. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go. But it genuinely, what a page turn.
What a thing to find out.
One of my brother, when his daughter was in high school, opened his home to a foreign exchange student. So he put his name on a list for a foreign exchange student. And a young lady from Italy came and stayed with him. And when she picked a place on the map, specifically picked a place where she was going to go because she thought it was close to Chicago. And on a map of the United States, Champaign is close to Chicago.
Oh my God.
But in reality, Champaign is not close to Chicago. Champaign is as close to Chicago as like South Bend is to Chicago.
Yeah, it's far.
It's far away. It's a couple hour drive. And so, but she didn't realize that when she looked at a map, she just picked. And so she picked literally the most boring place in the world to live.
That is so.
Which is the middle of the state. She had a great time and she fell in love with my family. Yeah, right. So like, when she came, she actually,
because your brother's great.
She came to visit my wife and I, because when we went down there, we got to know her and got to meet her. And she came to visit my wife and I when we were living in the city. And she flew out and she was going to go meet up with my brother and his family, but she stayed with us for a few days in downtown Chicago and then took another flight or a train down to visit my brother. Mm-hmm. But she stayed with she got to know my family and she fell in love with my family, but like genuinely she went there expecting Chicago.
Expecting to have a much more metropolitan experience.
Yeah, and then you wind up in Miami, Ohio.
And you wind up in Miami, Ohio.
And don't get me wrong, like Lou, like my brother Lou took her to Chicago several times.
Yeah.
But like at the same point, like you can't go there every week. And if it was Naperville, you could.
Right.
Because Naperville is a suburb that is far away from Chicago. It's like 25 miles from Chicago. But there is a train line that goes, so you could just jump on a train and get there. The train that goes to Chicago from like Champaign is like a 3.5 hour train. You just don't do it. So it's like, it's just not probable to do.
It's impractical.
It's impractical.
It's just impractical.
And that's the thing is like, you see this thing and you think, oh, it's going to be amazing. And then you wind up there and you're like, but I'm like across the world from it essentially.
Man, can you imagine? You think you're going to go from Vietnam and you're going to live in Miami on the coast by the ocean. Like you've got a whole,
and especially Miami, which is like a really, just like it's got its own thing.
It's got a vibe.
It's got its own like club thing going on.
So this is from WDBO. Landscaping crew mows around dead body, assuming it's a Halloween prop.
All right, Tom, go ahead.
The dead body of a North Carolina man was ignored for several days.
Jesus Christ.
Because it was mistaken for a Halloween decoration. Earlier this month, police found the body of 34-year-old Robert Owens lying face down in the grass near a home in China Grove, North Carolina. But it turned out that a lawn care worker had encountered the body a day earlier and mowed around it, assuming it was This feels like, have you ever seen those pictures of like the guys that are like painting the lines down the center of the road? And then there's like an obstruction and they just paint like a bubble
around it. Yeah.
This is some guy just like mowing and he's like, mow around.
So like if somebody's mowing your lawn and then they're like a big area like that, it's like the outline of a body is just sitting there and it's got like longer grass around it. Wouldn't you be like, hey man, What the fuck? Why did you leave this big patch of non-fucking grass over there?
like,
and would it
also-
be easier to see now?
Also, like, I have a lawn service and they move my shit out of the way. Like, if I leave like a lawn chair in the lawn, they pick up my lawn
They
chair
don't
and
just
move
go
it.
around.
They don't just mow around it. So, like, part of me is like, did they like walk up to the body and it was all heavy? And they're like, well, I'm not moving that.
What a hilarious thing though to be like, Halloween has gotten so out of control that people are just like in their lots. They're just like, hey man, just pretend there's a big ass dead body over there. Just throw a dead ass body over there.
Is it just like, is Halloween basically just like an inch away from the purge, right? Where you can just like kill people and like leave them in the grass and like throw some fucking Sour Patch Kids on their face and it'll be fine.
Oh, this is the best. This is so funny. God, it's so great that somebody's just like, nah, man, I ain't mowing around that. He's like weed whacking
Between
around
the legs.
body.
Oh, so, whatever.
They like trench around it a little bit. They think it's like an actual one of those like little islands you have in your yard with all. They put like that nice like mulch around.
Right? Yeah. Dude, if I fucking die fall face down, face first in my lawn, and the fucking lawn service comes like all around me. Actually, no, that's fine.
That
I'm
is
fine
okay.
with that.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I hope if I'm not
feel like
found,
just roll
I hope that's the
mower
way I'm
over
not
me.
found. Yeah,
I feel
just
like,
mulch me.
just mulch me right
Just
in
mulch
there.
me
Just
up.
mulch me right now. I mean,
But don't bag me.
It's gonna be a little messy, but still.
Okay, this story, there's part of this story that's incredible too. This is from 6ABC. Theft of 2 million diamonds from truckload of coins. Thank you. That would be a lot more.
2 million diamonds is a lot.
That's a lot of
2
goddamn
million.
diamonds.
Although the resale on diamonds isn't as good.
Better than dimes. Theft of 2 million dimes from truckload of coins from the U.S. Mint leaves 4 facing federal charges. Federal authorities have released more details and unsealed charges in the theft of more than 2 million dimes earlier this year from a tractor trailer that had picked up the coins from the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. And I have so many questions about this story. So many. The truck driver was bound for Miami when he pulled into a parking lot to sleep on April the 13th. During the night. So
what? We have overnight truckloads of cash driving around the United States?
But I gotta get through this next sentence. And then we've got
like
10
that you
things
have
to
the
say.
impunity to stop at a truck stop with?
Cecil, how do the thieves know it's full of dimes?
I think
Is there like a big truck that says U.S. Mint?
I wonder if it just has like big dollar signs on the outside. You know, like the bags that you get when you rob a bank and it's got the big dollar sign on it. I wonder if the truck itself just has one big dollar sign.
Is the Hamburglar driving this thing?
They open it up and they're like, "Oh baby, here it comes!" And they're like, "Here comes the bills!" And they open it up and it's all dimes.
Dimes?
Oh, brutal.
If you steal dimes and you get sentenced to 10 years, are you doing a dime for
Doing
dimes?
doing a dime for dimes.
So this next sentence
March
blows
of
my mind. During the night, thieves made off with a portion of its cargo of $750,000 in dimes, a shipment weighing about 6 tons.
What?
Authorities had said earlier. Okay,
What?
so you're in your truck sleeping. Okay, I sleep pretty hard.
Sure.
I don't think I sleep so hard that somebody could break into the truck that I'm sleeping
and
in
remove a pallet from it.
and take 6 tons of diamonds. The pictures in this are 1,000 words. There's it's Dimeageddon. There's dimes
everywhere.
scattered as far as the eye can see. It's fucking sea shanties of dimes.
Also, like, let's say you have 6 tons of dimes. How many of those things at the grocery store that counts change do you have to hit?
Yeah, right. You got like a coin star.
It's like you're buying Sudafed for meth, and you got to go across the state because they have your name at all of them because you've all the coin stars. You've run all the corn stars dry near you because you just keep on. You come in with like big sacks with money symbols on it of dimes that you're dumping in there.
So many questions. So you've got to know, first of all, that the truck is full of money.
Yeah.
Then you got to know it's full of dimes.
I don't know that they know the truck's full of money because you could just break into any truck.
So let's
just presume.
Let's
Let's
presume
presume they didn't know.
That's actually even better.
Let's presume they didn't know.
So you break into a truck and you realize the truck is full of money, but then you realize, fuck, it's full of dimes. And then you're like, all right, I guess I'm stealing bags of dimes.
Like genuinely, think about a pack of dimes. Let's say there's a fucking box of dimes, right? Which weighs like, let's say 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to just have like a VCR or something? VCR, you can't sell VCR
What the
anymore.
fuck
I'm
you gonna
sorry.
do with the VCR?
You can't sell VCR anymore.
Yeah, take it to the
VCR is
past.
an old person thing that I said. Forget I said VCR. But let's say, wouldn't you want a thing in
An 8-track?
electronics or something? Yeah, like a Betamax or something, Tom. VCR.
All right, so you got your 78s, right?
So let's say you got a turntable.
So your Victrola. Let's say you got your Victrola.
To be hilarious, like fucking turntable's way more common nowadays than a VCR, would be. VCR is fucking hilarious. Let's just say it's not a VCR. Let's say it's another very popular and hip brand new modern technology.
Like the iPod.
Let's just say it's like a cordless knife or something. A cordless knife.
It's a rechargeable spoon.
But in any case, I still haven't made my point.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Made my point.
All right, so you wish it was full of VCRs.
So let's just say we go back in time and there's a VCR
The truck was going 88 miles an hour when I pulled it over.
$100, or you have a 2,000-pound fucking box of dimes. What are you leaving with? Like, you're gonna take one. You would literally open this. You would see rows and rows of dimes. You'd be like, nah, man. You close the fucking thing and you go find another truck, man. I don't even care if it's filled with pigs. It's worth more and easier to transport.
At least the pigs will walk themselves. Cecil. See, there's like the police are on the lookout for like thieves with fucking busted discs and hernias. Just
and it looks like they got long shongs because they stuck a pack of dimes down there.
long and thin, just like the ladies love.
Like a pack of dimes, baby.
Okay, they steal.
It's not girthy and it's not long.
Oh God!
Please,
ironically, these dimes are a quarter of what you're looking for. So,
man.
How many getaway cars do you need for 12,000 pounds worth of dimes, Cecil? Can you imagine how your car's all like fucking weighed down?
The best part is there's like a guy who backs his pickup truck out and then they're just throwing fucking handfuls of dimes.
They had to be.
The pickup truck.
Because guys, there's fucking dimes scattered
everywhere.
And this fucking truck driver sleeps through the whole thing.
He had earplugs in. He's cranking classical music in there. He's watching a VCR.
Can you imagine? You get out of your truck in the morning, you stretch your legs like, another day for the roof. And you get out and look, and you like just see like a sea of dimes. And you're like, God, they could have made away with dozens of dollars.
Oh, man. Well, it's a lot of money worth of dimes.
It is. So they stole a few $100,000 worth of dimes. So again, genuinely, how many getaway cars? Do you remember that time we took my truck and we went shooting? We loaded my shitty light duty, like at a Nissan Frontier. And we loaded up full of like ammo and clay targets. Yeah. And remember, it broke the springs on my truck.
Yeah.
It wasn't that much weight.
No.
To break the springs of my truck.
6 tons. You would need like one of those like rolling coal trucks in order to even come close to it.
You'd need a couple of F-350.
You would have to have a trailer on the back. You'd have to have a trailer. You'd have to be prepared
to steal this much shit.
Maybe they thought they were going to get a whole truckload of VCRs.
So I want to read how they liquidated this cash too, because it isn't that far from the Coinstar thing. So also, this is how they stole it. They just fucking the surveillance video showed 6 men dressed in gray hoodies and armed with bolt cutters approaching the truck in the middle of the night, breaking into it, then loading the coins into smaller bags and into a waiting truck.
Yeah,
so just a truck. The indictment unsealed alleges that after the theft, thousands of dimes were converted into cash at coin machines in Maryland and through deposits to at least 4 different suburban Philadelphia banks. So they did just take this shit to Coinstar, dude.
They took it to Coinstar and then they took it to like the banks. But like that's what I was saying is at a certain point, just like if you go in to buy too much fucking Sudafed, your name's going to go on a list.
For real.
Same thing happened here. They got a little too crazy with the dimes. They went a little too nuts. They came back to the same bank too many times.
My dad, for years and years and years and years, he had a Hinckley and Schmidt water, 5-gallon water thing. Yeah. And he would take his pocket change after work. And he'd
How
put it
heavy
in
do
there.
those things get?
Dude, he never filled it. So I want to tell you that. Like, my dad, since I lived with him when I was 6 till after I wasn't living with him anymore, still had the same jar. And granted, I stole a lot of quarters from it over the years when I was a kid, right? My brother and I both would tip it and sort through for the quarters.
Yeah.
But even so, and we stopped doing that like by the time we were 14 or so, and he still had this thing for another 20 years afterwards. Never filled it. But I remember he was moving from one house to another house, and he's like, oh yeah, I got to move my jar of change. And I was like, Dad, you'll never pick that up. What you have is a glass bottle that cannot support the weight you've put in it. If you go to pick it up, it's just going to shatter the bottom of the glass. I was like, the only thing you can do is tip it over, pour it out, put it into bags, and take it to the bank. And he's like, nah, I think we can lift it. I was like, there's no way, Dad, you can lift it. It's a giant 5-gallon thing made of metal now. And he was like weirdly convinced. My dad's a smart guy, but he was weirdly convinced he could do it.
What happened, Tom?
He called me and he's like, I had to tip the thing over and fill it full of bags. Like, he couldn't do it. Wait, I remember being like, Dad, of course you did.
Yeah.
If you could lift it, which you cannot lift it, but if you could lift it.
It had to be a couple hundred pounds,
It would just bust through the bottom of the glass.
Yeah.
That glass is made to hold 40 pounds of water, man.
I know. Yeah.
That's it.
And those structural engineers didn't fucking put more extra glass in there to hold in more weight.
It was just, so I remember just how heavy that thing was, and now trying to like steal tonnages.
Tell you what, these guys,
I'm too lazy to be
they didn't skip leg day, that's for sure. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this week. Remember, donate to Vulgarity for Charity. Everybody knows how to do this now. Just go ahead, donate to Modest Needs. Get us your receipts so you can enter into Vulgarity for Charity. Even if you don't do that $100 for the minimum, please send your receipt anyway, just so we know how much money we get. Every single dollar is matched. So we report to them at the end of this and we say, hey, this is how much we raised, and then that money is matched up to $100,000. So we want to definitely break that. So please, if you have any extra cash this month, please consider donating to Modest Needs and sending that receipt over to us at vulgarityforcharity@gmail.com so you can get counted in. This is atheists doing some good, and it happens every single year, and every year we're always surprised with the outpouring. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll see you guys on Monday. We're going to leave you like we always do with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death and towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.